Welcome. This presentation is a contribution to the Ocean Science Virtual Meeting Session Deep Ocean Observing. My name is Daria Tamanchuk. I'm a research scientist at Dalhousie University in Halifax, Canada, and I will be talking about the deep moorings as reference ocean sites for the Ocean Observing Network, and specifically about the quality control and utility of oxygen time series from the optodes. This presentation is a joint contribution from my colleagues from Dalhousie University, Guiomar, University of Rhode Island, and other principal investigators from the GoSnap project. North Atlantic is one of the deep water formation regions of the global ocean. It also features large heat and freshwater fluxes. The OSNAP mooring array, seen here at the top of the slide, was established to provide a continuous record of fluxes of heat, mass, and fresh water in the region. The moorings within the array are equipped primarily with salinity and temperature sensors and also current meters. The region is known also as a sink of atmospheric gases. Specifically in winter, atmosphere, surface ocean, and deep ocean become connected, so that the gases being transported directly from the atmosphere to the deep ocean. Fluxes of oxygen are particularly large in this region, so that water formed, for example, in the Labrador Sea is oxygenated, and it flows further, fueling life in the Atlantic. In order to study transport of oxygen out of the Labrador Sea, in 2016, a group from Dalhousie equipped 53 North mooring array, which is part of OSNAP West, with the oxygen optodes. Earlier this year, through the NSF-funded GoSnap program, most sensors were added to the mooring array, including Labrador, western side of the Labrador Sea, but also the eastern side. The sensors were placed in the strategic location covering Labrador Sea, North Atlantic deep water, but also Denmark Strait overflow water. Oxygen optodes were placed on the mooring wire next to the microcats. The microcats were measured in CTD, and CTD data was needed for the salinity correction of oxygen data. Because of the 2-year turnaround schedule for the moorings in the Labrador Sea, the first deployment happened in 2018, and the subsequent redeployments happened in 2018 and also this year. And this year's deployment was already a part of the GoSnap program that I already mentioned. Based on our experience in 2018 and 2016, we have developed the quality control procedures to assure the best quality of oxygen data. These included pre- and post-deployment calibration casts and also CTD casts before the recovery and after the deployment of the moorings. Cal dips and CTD casts were needed to make sure that the sensor drift was accounted for, and this also includes so-called pressure conditioning drift that I will explain in the next slide. On the left-hand side of this slide, you can see 3 time series recorded on 2 separate moorings, K7 and K9, at 3 different depths, 1100 meters, 1800 meters, and about 2900 meters. The black time series represent raw data, and the red time series the same data, but it was drift corrected using CTD oxygen data, which was calibrated using Winkler samples. We have noticed that each of the sensors experienced a nonlinear drift after the redeployment, and the amplitude of this drift is proportional to the depths at which the sensor was deployed. The pressure conditioning drift was corrected for using the Cal dip data for the individual sensor. So now, as we learn how to effectively calibrate oxygen data on deep moorings, we can combine this data with the other parameters recorded by the transport arrays and look at, for example, correlation between oxygen and heat fluxes at the same location. Deep oxygen time series can be particularly useful in understanding ocean deoxygenation and processes related to it. And therefore, this knowledge can help us to improve biogeochemical models. And finally, deep ocean moorings that are able to provide high-quality oxygen data can be viewed as reference sites for global observing networks that are based on biogeochemical Argos, gliders, or other IUVs. Thank you for your attention, and I hope you enjoy my presentation.